Okay, so welcome to the last session of this mentoring program, and here what we are going to discuss is some of the other issues in the mentoring relationship. You know that once we look at the relationship and we see that the mentoring program goes smoothly, and we have discussed the responsibility of both the mentors as well as mentees, that how should they go about this kind of program, and then we look into some other critical issues, right, related to mentoring, and then we will also check that how do we go about examining the link of mentoring and improvement in the performance and the behavior, because that is the basic objective of mentoring. But so, how do we go about evaluating mentoring? Okay. You remember we talked about evaluating the process, outcome and the performance of the mentoring, right. So, these are the three criteria through which we can go for evaluating the mentoring process. Now, in this context we are going to discuss some of the issues related to the mentoring, right. So, the first question that comes to mind when you are going to start any mentoring program, that are you ready to mentor somebody? So, if you are ready to mentor, it means that you have those qualities which is required by a mentor or not, and if you are not having those qualities, then you need to develop those qualities so that you become a good mentor, right. So, when we are going to talk about being ready as a mentor, so we discussed some of the things in the past also, but we are in a compact way we are going to discuss it and redefine it again. It means that if you are ready to mentor, it means if you are willing to become a mentor, then you must be able to help another person. You should be able to extend your help or extend your helping hand to other person who needs to be helped or who needs to be developed, right. So, you should be ready, willing and able to help another person, because you, if you are going to take responsibility, you should continue to this kind of responsibility. You should not leave in between as a mentor. For example, in the beginning you sometimes you say that okay, you have all the time and energy, but sometimes after that you lose interest in the mentee for whatever reasons. Sometimes it may happen that as a mentor you lose interest and it becomes haywire, the mentee is not doing the job or you are not taking interest, or somewhere the relationship become dysfunctional, right. So, the mentoring relationship ends. So, whatever resources are being spent on this kind of process in a formal way, okay, is going to fail, and there is no return on this kind of investments. So, you have to be very careful when you are going to act as a mentor, right. You must show your willingness, commitment in terms of time and other resources to help another person, and then only you should take the responsibilities. Okay. That is one thing. In addition to it, you must have the background that is required. It means you know that mentors are mostly senior professionals in the organization, senior as well as experienced, who have grown to the ladder of senior positions within the right time frame. So, they have all the experience and knowledge which they are supposed to share with their junior person, right, because now they are in a position where there is no growth and development. Okay. So, they are all grow and developed in the career, personally and professionally they are very satisfied. So, if these people come forward, they share their knowledge and skill base with the younger ones, probably they can help youngers to grow and develop in the organization. It is good for both mentors and mentees as well as for the organization, because it could be a part of the talent management strategy, that how we are going to take care of the talent in the organization. It could be also related to absenteeism and turnover of the organizations, right. So, that implied turnover is less, because you know that if you join this organization, there is someone who is going to take care of you, your growth and your development, right. So, there are certain issues that has to be kept in mind before you accept responsibility to become a mentor. So, apart from your commitment in terms of time, resources and availability, you also need to ensure that your credibility is not at stake. You are respected and trusted by not only by your fellow, but everybody else in the organization. It means you have moved to a senior position because of your integrity, your honesty, your capability, not otherwise, and then probably your credibility would not be at stake. Okay. It means your credibility is very solid in terms of knowledge, skill base, your growth and development, and you have a background which is very established. Okay. So, there is no question asked there, and then you have all the competencies that is required to mentor somebody, right. And of course, your level of respect is very, very high among your peers, fellows and others in the organization, and that is how you build up your credibility to become a mentor. So, the credibility comes from respect, credibility comes from your background, credibility comes from your competence. So, if your credibility is established and you are ready to help, then you must come forward and take this responsibility to help another person. Now, if you look at this role, probably you can relate it with Maslow's hierarchy also, because if you look at Maslow's hierarchy, you have reached to a level where you have moved to a highest level on the Maslow's hierarchy, right. If you look at this Maslow's hierarchy is something like this one. Say pyramidal in nature, basically you have physiological needs, security needs, then relationship, then esteem needs, and finally you have self actualization. Most of the people move only up to this esteem needs. Why I am giving this reference of Maslow's hierarchy here is that mentors are basically those kind of people who are self actualized. Self actualized means what? It means they have realized their potential, they know what they are, and not only that, but they can see that in what way they can contribute to the growth and development of other people in the organization. Okay. So, you realize your potential, then another important issue is related to this is contribute to growth and development of others. Why it is important here is because up to this level, self esteem level, you have been thinking about your growth and development so far, right, in the organization. So, you have moved up in this hierarchy up to this level thinking about yourself, your growth and development. Now, you have grown and developed now, and it is your responsibility to give it back. You giving it back to whom? To the people who join the organization, so that they can also grow and develop. So, it is a responsibility you can say that you take for the growth and development of other people, provided you have realized your potential, that yes, you have the potential and you can contribute to the growth and development of other people, right. And that is what we call this another issue that is related to emotionally or psychologically ready for responsibilities. Okay. What does it mean? Whether you have those responsibilities or not. So, I try to explain here it in psychological terms and the need hierarchy, that if you have realized your potential and you are ready to contribute to the growth and development, and you think that yes, you have this kind of feeling, you are ready to take this responsibility, then you should go for this. As a result, probably you can expect higher expectations, more positive results, okay. And then certain other qualities that is required by you is that yes, you should be a good listener, you should be able to listen, comprehend, be empathetic. Empathy means feeling like others, you should be able to understand their problem, and since you have already gone through these things in your career, probably you will be a better position to understand it. And finally, you should be able to commit time and freedom, because if you are not able to free yourself from your activities, probably you will not be able to do this job. Okay. So, as a mentor you have to think about it before taking up this responsibility. So, this is very, very important, otherwise the entire process, relationship, other things will not work. So, this is one issue that is to be important for the mentors. Okay. When you realize that there is a gap in the performance of the people, what to do? Okay. You know that the person is not able to perform well, okay. And there is a gap between the actual performance and the benchmark performance, or what you call the standard performance. Should you come up with positive constructive strategies to overcome this? What to do? Or you should give negative comments. So, the idea is that since you are a very mature, experienced senior professional, so you should try to give very positive and constructive feedback to the people, so that he can overcome failures, as we have already discussed, that as a mentee he should be able to understand and accept failures, but your role in the process is to make them understand that how to overcome this kind of things. Okay. So, you should be you are supposed to give a very positive and constructive feedback. So, your strategy for his growth should be positive and constructive. It should not be based upon the gap in the performance. The gap in the performance may be there, but you should think about his overall growth and development, because you are not concerned about his performance gap on the current job, because the solution is training, not mentoring. As a mentor, you are not responsible for bridging the gap in the performance on the current job, but you are responsible to ensure that how this kind of things does not come in the future. So, you have to see that how this person is going to take up this challenge, so that this kind of performance gap does not come in the picture later on, right. So far as gap in the performance, that you can find out from the supervisor, right, looking at his performance archival data. What is the gap in the performance, and this performance gap can be bridged by identifying their needs, okay, identifying a training intervention, going for that kind of training intervention, and then helping him out to perform well, right. So, the approach should be more developmental in nature. So, you can ask line managers, okay, these are the performance gaps which need to be looked into by you, and then line managers are going to take responsibility for bridging the gap in the performance, right. And then since you are going to confront with the person who is not having a good performance, you should make sure that this confrontation is always healthy. The tone should not be negative, the attitude should be positive, okay, and then you should not have any kind of biasness or attitude in your judgment related to his performance. Okay. And when you are going to communicate this, that is very important. Okay. And whether you are going to keep supervisors in the loop in the process or not. So, what are the things that you should not do? Do not criticize, okay. Give always constructive positive feedback, do not always repeat shortcomings. The same thing if you repeat, probably the person would get irritated, or he would try to defend, or he may not like these kind of things. So, the relationship might be dysfunctional. Okay. Do not make statements in absolute terms, like you are good for nothing. Okay. You cannot do it. You said, okay, these are the issues which you need to take care, and you have reached up to this, now you have to proceed further. So, you should always make graded relative statements, that is always better. Okay. Sometimes you provide advice which he may not like, unsolicited advice should not be given. The feedback should be based upon meeting and discussions that goes on, okay, and should be based on fact and discussion, and should be recorded. That is why you use these terms FDR, fact, discussions and record, and based on that you should give advice, not otherwise. Okay. So, the idea is to bring out the people from the problem, not to create more problems for them. Okay. So, make sure that by doing these things you are not creating problem for the people. Then you mentors and mentee in the process develop a special relationship. What does it mean when you call it a special relationship? So, you know that we have different kind of mentoring issues here. A special relationship in the sense what? You know, sometimes you have a mentor who is a male. Okay. So, same gender relationship you are going to have. Sometimes you might be having a mentor who is going to be a female. So, your boss may be, or your senior professional might be a female, or sometimes you have a mentee who is a different gender. Okay. So, in many organizations we go for cross gender of relationship or cross gendering of relationships, right. These cross gendering of relationship may be good, provided you get better perspectives out of it, because the way they think could be different, okay, is not it. So, but this has certain problems also, okay, like gossiping, envy, suspicion, speculation, having certain sexual stereotypes, okay, or sometimes there could be charges of sexual harassments. So, these are some of the issues that may come up in cross gendering relationship. Make sure that these things are not going to happen, provided there is a cross gendering in this mentoring relationship. It means one of either the mentor or the mentee is a male or the female, right. Okay. If both of them are male, usually the problem does not happen, but if both of them are female, that also creates certain problems at times, okay, even if you are having same gender relationship, especially in case of female. Okay. So, there are certain things that mentors need to be aware of, and there are certain things about which the mentees need to be aware of. Okay. So, you have to see that these kind of things are avoided in cross gendering relationship. Then the cross cultural differences could be there, right. The background, the religion, the race, the socioeconomic status or the family traditions of the mentors and mentee may be different. So, this may also lead to some dysfunctional relationship, like cross gendering there could be a dysfunctional relationship. Even in cross cultural differences between the mentor and the mentees may be dysfunctional, but it could also be used as a beneficial from the beneficial perspective, because it brings variety into the relationship. You try to get to know about others perspective or different perspective, okay, whether it is cross gendering relationship or cross cultural relationship. So, it is very important that if you are going to have a cross gendering relationship or cross cultural differences in relationship, the mentor and mentees are from two different arenas or perspectives, make sure that you are able to exploit the benefits of culture or benefits of gender into others perspective, and you get benefit out of it instead of making sure that this is going to create certain kind of dysfunctions in the relationship, right. For example, as a male mentee you think that a female mentor is not good for you. So, you have you think that females are not good bosses. So, this kind of stereotypes if it is there, probably it is going to lead to a dysfunctional relationship, right. And suppose you are a male mentor and you have a female mentees, and then if it is not working out, there could be a charge of sexual harassment also, or otherwise it will also happen, vice versa. Okay. And then you in case of cross gendering relationship, sometimes you start speculating certain things which may not be based on facts, okay. And you think that yes, mentor is doing something, you become suspicious either about the mentors or the mentees. Okay. So, these kind of problems need to be avoided in a cross gendering relationship, and that is why we call it a special relationships. These actually these traits and characteristics need to be exploited from the positive perspective, from the not from the negative perspective. Say for example, in a cross cultural mentoring relationship, where the people are from different say economic background. So, you are going to provide different perspectives to think, to grow and develop. Are you from the religious background, different religious alliances or background. So, you come to know understand about others' religion. Okay. So, that bit should be taken as a strength, not as a negative thing, right. So, these kind of things are important, provided it how do you take up. So, the mentors and mentees need to be trained about these kind of things, so that this does not create any kind of problem for the relationship to be dysfunctional. Another issue comes out that when your supervisor becomes your mentor, okay, it could be effective, but at the same time it could be very ineffective, because if he thinks that he has all the power and authority. So, this power authority imbalance sometimes create problems. So, it should be avoided. Usually in most cases it has been found that supervisors are not supposed to be mentors. So, supervisors or mentor should be somebody from other departments who is a senior professional, okay, working in a different department, because in this kind of relationship this power authority will not come into the picture, okay. Because if power authority comes into the picture and it creates any kind of imbalance, then this relationship is going to be dysfunctional. Okay. So, if you are going to have a cross cultural difference or cross gender differences or supervisors become your mentor, there are certain things that need to be avoided. So, these are another issues. What are the problems with cross gender mentoring? Okay. It is possible to have it in organizations, especially in case of business. You have male mentor, male mentors, mentees, or male mentor and female mentees, most common. Female mentor and male mentees, and female mentor and female mentees. It is rare. Usually it does not happen, but these things are very common that you can find out in most of the business organizations, right, or other organizations as well. Okay. The problem with female mentor and mentee is different kind of things, right. Sometimes the compatibility issues or the relationship issues come into the picture, but others in other cases also there could be a problem related to what you call this mentoring relationship. So, what are the advice for same gender and cross gender mentoring? What kind of advice can be given? Look at this. Do not make any personal relationship. Okay. Always make this relationship as professional as possible. Okay. So, you need to separate your personal relationship with your professional relationship in any mentoring program, provided, for example, if you are a male and you want to male. So, this is the most common form, that usually does not have a problem, but suppose you are a male mentor and a female mentee. So, do not get into any kind of personal relationship, or if you are a female mentor and male mentee, they should also deal more professionally with each other compared to others. Or here also, though it is not, it is rare, here also it is advised that they should engage only in professional relationship, okay, which is related to the job, the performance, their growth and development, not as an individual. That is very, very important. Okay, that is what I was discussing, that this needs to be avoided. So, the relationship need to be maintained professionally, and that is very, very important. Another issue is you have to be sensitive to other people's reactions and potential rumors. Okay. As a mentor, if somebody is saying something about the mentee, okay, so you should be very, very careful what you say about the other person. Okay. It could be your fellow colleague, or it could be your subordinate, or anybody else, or even the mentor saying something about the mentees to others. Okay. So, you have to be very, very careful. Okay. You should not do anything that is going to affect this relationship. Okay. The idea is to maintain this relationship, not to make it dysfunctional. For example, if I am a mentor for a student, then and I know a lot of things about the student. So, I should not disclose this information to other students, because the student might, if he comes to know about it, he might react it, that I have breached the confidentiality between the mentor and the mentee, right, as a student and the teacher. So, this kind of things need to be avoided, because if this kind of things are going to happen, probably this relationship is going to be dysfunctional. Okay. And at the same time, both the mentors and mentees should try to avoid any kind of rumors about each other. Okay. For example, mentor can think about mentees that he is doing this, he is doing this, so which may not be based on facts. Okay. Similarly, mentee should also think about the mentor in a very professional way, and should not basically disclose any kind of information about the mentors to others, even if it is based on facts. And if it is not based on facts, which is only a rumor, it should never be talked about. So, both the mentors as well as mentee in a mentoring relationship should be very, very sensitive to maintain confidentiality. Okay. And they should never breach this confidentiality, because this relationship is based upon mutual trust and respect for each other, right. And if that is basically the pillar, if it is not happening, probably this kind of thing is not going to work out. Third important issue, okay. Avoid perception of personal relationship. Okay. Whatever personal relationship is, you keep it aside. Personally, you can discuss it, that is not an issue. Okay. But in professional meetings, public meetings, we should not talk about it. Similarly, you must maintain transparency in your relationship, that is very, very important. In terms of your needs, your expectations, you must be clear about it, and that is why we say that we need to match mentor and mentees both, so that this relationship becomes effective to carry out the process of mentoring. And if it is not happening, probably it is not good either for the mentor or the mentor, and especially if they belong to two different genders, then this problems become great. Okay. So, this personal relationship, especially in case of cross gender mentoring, has to be avoided at all costs, and this relationship should be based purely on professional relationship, right, and that is more important. And if you are going to for this, probably the cross gender mentoring can be more powerful, more effective, right. So, you should set aside your personal relationship, you should only discuss about professional relationship or professional engagement. For both, it is true for both the mentor and mentees. If you might have certain personal relationship at certain level, but that should be kept in private, and they should never be discussed in public, and then maintain transparency in your relationship, whether it is personal or professional. That is very, very important. It means that, say for example, if you have a personal relationship with your supervisor, so how do you talk to him? That is very, very important. what about which things you are talking about. Do not talk about each and everything to your supervisor, okay. And both should maintain the respect and trust with each other, and that is how it is going to work out in future, and that transparency comes from there only, right. Now, look at what happens at different levels, psychologically as well as career related both. These are certain dysfunctions in the mentoring relationship. Okay. If you have bad intent, what are the psychological impact? You have negative relations, bullies, you become enemies to each other, right. So, in a mentor and mentoring relationship, this is equally possible, okay. And then as a mentor, you would think that you basically go on sabotage, you think that you take revenge, okay. You go for silent, you do not talk to him, you do not treat him with respect, okay. And when you think about damaging his career, okay. I just say, professor, I can think that, okay, if you have bad intent about, I will see to it that you do not succeed in your career, right. So, this kind of sabotage may be possible, provided if I have a bad intent about my student, who could be a mentee for me, right. So, this kind of bad intent has to be looked into, and if it is a dysfunctional relationship, probably it is very bad, which is going to, I mean, it may result in sabotage like revenge, silent treatment, career damage and all kind of things. But if you have good intent, right, with each other, probably again this creates certain problems. Psychologically, if you go for this kind of relationship, there could be certain difficulties that you might face. There could be conflict of interest, okay. There are certain binds that need to be avoided, okay. And it must also happen that if it is related to the career, then it may be spoiling in nature, betrayal may be there, right, regret, mentoring of fast tracks, okay. All kind of things might happen. So, make sure that both kind of things, whether it is a good intent or the bad intent, both are not very good, and that is why we expect you to maintain very professional relationship, because if you have a very good, probably you get too much attached and all kind of things might happen, and probably you are going to spoil him, because he becomes totally independent to you, or you are going to be totally dependent on him. So, these kind of things to be avoided. After discussing this, we have to see that what kind of advice should be given to the potential mentees. Okay. Get mentors, mentors help with current organizational issues, external help, if you have external mentors, they had larger career issues and future organizational problems and moves, right. See, it is not that in your life you are going to have only one mentor. So, one mentor is unlikely to fulfill all your development needs, right. So, make sure that for different things you go for different kind of mentors, and since you are going for a formal mentoring, structured mentoring program, that is always possible to have different mentors at different phases of your life. Be proactive. Be proactive means you try to sense and scan what is happening around, so that accordingly you try to develop and grow yourself. Then you should have a willing attitude or learning attitude to, that is very important. If you do not have a learning attitude, probably you are dead. You will not be able to grow and develop yourself in a career at any stage of your life. I do not think that you have grown up, you have developed everything. Like mentors sometimes think that they have got all the experience and knowledge, they do not need to develop anymore, right. Then when you are going to set goals, as I have already discussed about it, it has to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant and time bound. Okay. So, that is to be looked into. Then for mentors also you have to see that, yes, make sure that your mentee is not going to be uncomfortable. Okay. So, you need to break the ice before you start this relationship, that is very, very important. Share your career experiences, you make sure that he is going to work in your area of expertise experience, not going beyond that, because in that case you will not be able to help him out, right. Be clear that mentee sets pace of relationship, advice, do not manage, that is very, very important. So, that he explores and develops himself. Okay. Do not go for favoritism and biasness, in that case you are basically managing, do not go for these kind of activities. And extend mentees development networks, suggest what needs to be done, what kind of association networks, relationships he need to develop in order to grow and develop himself, right. And then sometimes this mentoring is also done through distance, in distance mode. Okay. through emails, to telephones, to other things, right. Sometimes you use emails to set up meetings, face to face or phone, to clarify goals, objectives and these kind of things, but do not use this for critical and complex feedback. It should always be one to one, face to face, right. And then there are certain communication challenges that need to be looked into, because you have to look at non-verbal cues also, okay, in terms of voice, volume, tone and all these kind of things. Okay. And try to I always try to get specific information, clarify meanings, and that is true for both of them. And then summarize agreements, it means both of them negotiate agreements on which they are going to work. So, if you are going to use this kind of mentoring in the process, though it is not very effective, but sometimes it may happen that you have to go for this. Now, another important thing, and that is the last thing that I want to discuss today, is reverse mentoring. Okay. Now, you can see two people here, one is the mentor and the mentee. The mentee is sitting in front of a computer and the mentor is having a notepad with him. It means he is trying to learn certain things which is happening in the field of say technology, which are advanced knowledge, which may not be having, because he has not gone through these kind of things, and that is where he is going to learn certain things from the mentee, and that is what we know as reverse mentoring. Reverse mentoring means something that you are going to learn from your mentee. Okay. So, what actually happens, that knowledge goes from generation X or Y, who is having a different kind of attitude, knowledge and skill base, okay, from a mentor who is a very senior experienced professionals. So, he can overcome certain things in terms of new developments, new knowledge that has come into the picture, right. So, that is what reverse mentoring is. Thank you very much.